Jesus Christ.
Good gracious.
I'm sweating from moving like that.
Moving like what? Stretching your arm?
This had to, like, just to stretch. I think I'm stretching. I think I'm sweating from the, like, effort of not dropping.
Oh.
So it's like the conscious thought is what made me sweat, not the action.
It was the anxiety.
Yeah. I'm like,
got you. I'm like, wait, it's not
guys,
right.
Help. I feel like this is immediately in my face, like, you don't want again. We have different wants and needs.
Well, my want and need.
Yeah.
I'm going to just close this for a minute because I'm sure in the first 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to make a face that I can use for the thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
So at least that won't be in
the shot?
Can your coffee move over there?
Wow. Yeah, I suppose it can. Oh, fuck. Guys. Welcome back.
Yeah. It's been
for
not that long for you because you got your welcome back episode last week,
which was actually goodbye.
So
it makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense at the time. So we actually.
Where's your headphone thing? Did you hide it?
Oh, I moved it back here because it was in the way. My cup was in the way too.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have the cup up. Okay. We need to be twins, or it's not gonna work.
It's all drippy. I don't want it to get on me.
So clearly things look different.
Yeah. So our last episode.
I was like, why'd she stop?
I don't remember. Okay. Our last episode was the most recent one that you saw, which was our goodbye for season 2. And we were like, we might not have a new home. We don't know what's going on with our set. Like, we're just kind of in limbo. We did experience homelessness.
Yeah.
For the podcast for about a month, 2 months. What's it, July? Yeah, about 2 months. It was at the end of May.
Yeah.
We recorded before the end of May. It only took you 2 months to edit that episode.
Oh, I'd like to point something out. That was my fault completely. That being said, I had to say yesterday, that episode has to go out Tuesday because Miss Ma'am here, I could have got it out. And sometimes it's still, those thumbnails ain't happening. And I'm not trying to point fingers on who got the harder job. Because she goes, well, it took you a month to do it. And I was like, okay, you're correct. But I feel like it's harder
to edit. Oh, yeah, definitely.
That.
It definitely takes longer.
Miss
Have
Ma'am.
you started using that AI thing
No,
or experiencing?
Literally, no. I forgot about it till just now. Till just now.
Till when I said the words AI.
And because now I hear AI and I'm like, canceled. I can't support those type of people, the fake ones that we make to help ourselves.
But yeah, so new set, new home.
We did our table.
Yeah, it's
don't look at it that much.
Yeah, you can't see the flaws, but we can, and they were very upsetting at the time. But we've just learned to accept things as they are and just move on.
Yeah, it
doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. And
I might stare at it a lot
and be like, "Oh my gosh, look at all the mess."
I mean, in theory, it's fine. It's a one of a kind.
It is one of one. It is unique.
It is. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, pretty much we've got a new setup.
If you're listening to audio only, go to youtube.com/WAYYPod.
If you're listening to audio only, why are you doing that?
Yeah, go watch on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search WAYYPod, you have to put the @ in front of it, just FYI. Yeah. I don't know if you knew that. If you search just WAYYPod, WAYYPOD,
some other bitch comes up.
You got to scroll for a minute. But if you do @WAYYPod,
because that's what we're called.
Yeah, that's what our actual handle is. It will come up right there, and you should subscribe and turn on notifications.
You should. We're trying to get back on there, get back on the grind.
Yes.
So yeah, we are now set up somewhere else, completely different. This went way smoother than building said walls.
Yes.
Thank Jesus Lord, our almighty Savior. Because if I would have had to experience building that wall again, I genuinely might have just run out in the street.
So I feel like if we had to build it again, though, at least we know what to do because we went through so many trials and tribulations and failures with the first 3 times we attempted to construct that wall.
That was disgusting.
So I feel like it would have gone better, but this was definitely a much smoother process. We learned from our mistakes last time. We learned to never say, this will be easy. This won't take that long. Oh, God forbid you say, this won't take that long. It shouldn't take that long. Those words, every time we were tempted to say it, we're like, nope, not going to say it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Because you're going to jinx yourself and it will take that long.
Exactly.
We learned to keep the expectations low.
Super low. As low as, like, just don't have any.
Yeah, really. Realistically, it was like, okay, we're going to show up and we will, our goal for like the first day was like, get the wallpaper on the walls.
That's it.
And we did it.
Paint the trim. Did it.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah. This little bitch right here, like this piece on top of this trim. Whew. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. That was probably one of the most annoying things besides like the table. Because like we had these finishing nails that we were supposed to use. But anyway, I couldn't get it to go in. And then I just said, fuck it, and I used screws. So if they're ugly, I don't really care. I've just moved on.
I think they look nice.
Yeah, I feel like just don't look at it that hard.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Like everything. You just, if you just kind of squint a little bit, it's fine.
Don't look that hard.
Yeah.
So we'll keep kind of like we did before. As each episode, I'm sure there will be something different on the wall each time because if we can't perfect it. We have to start somewhere, and this is where we're starting.
Yes, we can't wait until it's perfect to start. We just have to start and continue adjusting as we go. So, but we kind of do that every episode anyway, where we change something, whether it's lighting or a camera angle, and you're like, I want to try this. And then we're like,
don't do that again.
No, never again. The next time we come back, it's like, that was a mistake.
Yeah, why did you do that?
So,
well, so yeah, that's a podcast. I know I keep looking around at the set
because it looks so good.
I know. I'm like,
it's like the camera's over here.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
hey,
what's up, guys? Okay,
what's going on? Before we get any further, and we're live. I'm Anna.
I'm what camera are we supposed to look at?
This one.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm Jessica. Oh wait.
Yeah. Let's try again.
Again.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm like rewind. Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I think I was pretty great. Just saying on the plan.
Suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Why Are You Yelling?
Well, multiple reasons. So, I experienced something weird. I have saved this story for you.
Yes. She keeps saying, I want to tell you, we have to record because I want to tell you my story. But I can't until we're on the podcast. So please.
In hindsight, it's not that funny. Like, you ever just think, you're like, this is a good one. And then you're like, you go to tell it and you're like, what the fuck was I talking about? Why? So, okay. You know the show Kill Tony.
Yes.
So we were watching Kill Tony, like one of the newest episodes. It had Tom Segura and Joe Rogan on it and all this stuff, right? So while me and Travis are watching, Obi needs to go outside. So we're like, okay.
Obi, her dog.
Obi is my pup, my chow chow. So we let him outside, and as Travis opens the door, something like falls and lands on his leg, which he assumed was like a mole cricket or like some kind of insect. And he's like, oh my God, it's going to bite me. So he smacks it off, and then it lands on the floor, and he goes to like kill it. So he smacks it hard, and he looks down, and he's like, oh fuck, it's a gecko. It's a little lizard.
Oh no.
So then he's like,
you love lizards.
So then he was like, it's dead. And we were like, no.
Maybe it was already dead when it fell.
No,
it
it's
was
alive.
blunt force trauma?
It's alive.
Oh.
It was alive.
Oh.
I'll get there. So we thought he was
I'm like,
dead.
this just got dark.
Dark turn. So he's like, he's dead. And then he's like, oh, fuck, he's alive. And I'm like, what? So we put him on our kitchen table to see, like, how alive is he? And I'm like...
You just on the table
and he was a baby.
With no barrier. Just...
Yeah, he was a little baby gecko. So he was, like, super tiny, y'all. Okay. Like, I mean, like, maybe, like, not even the size of my thumb.
Oh.
So... we're kind of seeing how he is. He's
like you need to like resuscitate him, use a little finger to
he started moving. Yeah, right.
CPR.
Alive.
Just like Bailey like tap him. Get his
So
heart going.
yeah, exactly. So he starts moving around, but he definitely like you can tell like he's hurt. And I'm like, oh fuck, did you break his arm? Like, oh god damn, like we feel horrible because like I like lizards. You really like, especially like the house geckos, like the Mediterranean house geckos that are just like really around in Florida and Georgia, and I think they're also in Texas.
I have a shit ton of lizards around my apartment. They live under my doorstep. Like anytime it's like I come home from work or I'm leaving in the morning, they're just sunbathing, and then as I walk toward them, they kind of like scatter.
And so, yeah, I like lizards, and they also, I mean, really, you shouldn't. If you have lizards at your house, you really don't want to kill them because they help keep the bug population down. So like,
that's why I'm like, y'all chill there as long as you don't come inside the house, because
my cat's gonna get you.
I have found 2, I think, and which isn't that many, but I found 2 like deceased ones in my house, and I was like, what is it? Fucked around and found out.
bless. So Travis was like, well, I mean, he's alive, so should we just toss him outside and, you know, whatever. And then I felt bad because I was like, well, okay, here's the thing. If he's hurt, he has less chance of survival because he's going to be more prone to whatever predator's after him, and he's not going to be able to just go run away.
Oh God.
So, like, and what if he gets ate by ants alive or something because he has no strength? Yeah. And I'm like, that's a horrible way to die. Why don't we just keep him overnight? And if he dies, then at least he didn't die like painfully, like, well, I mean, more painful than I'm sure he felt already.
At least he wasn't like eaten alive.
Yeah. And so I was like, and then if he lives, you know, we'll try to see how long he lives and then just let him go. So Travis, he likes bonsai trees. So he had like this moss and all this stuff. So we had like a little container. It was like a glass pitcher we have. And so we put the moss in the bottom. He got him a little tree, and we put him in there. And so we named him Tony because we were watching Kill Tony, and we almost killed Tony. So we being Travis. So and he felt bad because he was like, "Fuck, man!" Like, I mean, there's really not a lot of animals I don't like besides like a fucking cockroach, and I even have a small. Like, my attitude towards spiders are slowly changing. Like, the jumping ones that are super tiny because they're actually super fucking cute. Like, if you look at their face, if you look up pictures of, like, jumping spiders up close, they're so cute. They don't even look real. They look like animation, like something in Pixar. They're so cute. I have a story about that, too. That's not related, but it's actually it's not really funny now. Oops. Anyway, so he lived the next day. And we were like, okay, well, he's living. And we were going to get him some food. And, well, he ended up dying. So that's the story. Oh. He died. But
you killed Tony.
We killed Tony either way. Like, the circle of life did prevail. But we tried.
Did you bury him or just kind of like...
I think Travis just kind of threw him in the yard.
Well,
I was like, well...
circle of life.
Yeah, but at least he's not alive when the ants get him.
Yeah.
Is my point, I guess.
He may have been like dehydrated, or
we put water in there.
Oh, so what about like heat? Because
we kept him in the garage, and we had and the moss was wet, so the area was humid, and so I just hope we didn't kill him because that happened Sunday night. Monday, he didn't have any food. Or wait, did it happen Saturday night? No. I don't remember. But this was during the week. This was not a weekend. This was during the week. When did my friends come over?
Thursday?
So it happened Wednesday.
Wednesday or Thursday?
It happened the day before they came over. So let's just say Wednesday. So it happened Wednesday night. So it was Friday. That I was going to go get food because we didn't know if he was going to live. But we did find a little bug and we put it in there, and I don't know if he ate it or not, but he did have water. But I was trying to read about geckos, and I was going to go get him I was going to get him an actual little house. Cause at this point I'm like, I think we're keeping this lizard.
It's my pet.
Pretty much. And I just hope we didn't kill him.
It may have been the blunt force trauma.
I'm like, was it too hot? Because there wasn't any place, like, was it too hot was it too humid? Did he not have a cool place to go? We had water. And most of the time they actually apparently they don't actually drink out of the little cup you give them. They drink out off the little droplets that are coming off leaves and stuff. But anyway, I mean, he died. But he was alive that morning when I went to work, and then Travis got home at lunch and he goes, Tony's dead. And I was like, no. Aww. No. It was awful.
So speaking of spiders, I had one living inside my mailbox.
No.
Yeah.
I'm never checking the mail again.
Yeah. So my mailbox is, I live in an apartment like complex situation. So mine is on the end of like 6 that are on the same sort of like all right next to each other.
Yeah.
On like one like piece of wood thing, post, whatever. So my mailbox is like older and it's kind of like rusty and it's just like whatever. So like in order for it to like shut and stay shut, like it kind of like doesn't, the flap on the front doesn't quite line up with the actual box part. So you kind of have to like really squeeze it and like shut it good and line it up to make it shut. So that to say, it's like kind of like it takes a little jerk to open it. And then you got to push that in here. So I knew that there was something living in there because I had seen like a couple of spider webs near the front, like small, like just a couple little strings, but I didn't see a spider. So I would just kind of like reach in, grab my thing, whatever. And so it had been there for like a week or two. And then the next thing I know, I go to check my mail one day and there's like a whole bunch of spider webs all up in the front, like a lot of them, and I have mail in there that I need to get. And so then I get my phone out to shine my flashlight in there because it's like in the evening, I can't see inside it. So I like kind of shine my flashlight and get down in there. This bitch is the size of like a quarter, maybe not a quarter, maybe like a nickel. But he's still big and he looks mean. He looks like one of those like angular pointy one kind of bitches, you know, where I was like,
he wasn't like a fuzzy one.
No, he was not. He didn't look friendly or cute. He looked mean. And so I was like, oh, you okay.
We're not friends.
No. So I was like, oh, son of a bitch. So I had to go and get my bug spray and then
you murdered him.
So I tried to spray him with the spray, but the spray wasn't one of those like directional ones. It just kind of like, kind of hits like within the first like 6 to 8 inches, and then it's like misty, but it doesn't like directionally go further.
Yeah.
And he ran to the back.
He said, nee.
Yeah. And so he's all the way in the back. And so when I'm spraying it, it's just kind of getting the front and getting on the spider web. So I have to keep spraying it because it's like moving the spider web, and then he comes to investigate. And so by the time he got to and I'm also trying not to get that close because I don't want bitch to jump out at me.
That's like my biggest fear. Is like a bug jumping on me.
Like, I just know that spiders it's going to get me. Like, especially ones that big. I just know that if I get close enough, he's going to look at me and be like, ah, like
100,000%
at my face.
1,000%.
And I'm going to die.
That's what they do.
On the spot.
In my mind, that's what every spider does.
Yes. And so, but eventually I killed him, and I kind of just had to
murdered.
He moved to the front, and I just like was on him for a good 30 seconds until he was covered in the white stuff. And then eventually he just kind of like, I could tell he was dead, but his one leg was still kind of hanging from the web. And so he's just hanging there. So I kind of had to like,
you're like, get the fuck out of here.
I kind of had to like hit him like with my keys.
Get out.
But yeah, so he's not there no more.
I've seen pictures. Okay. So there's a few people on TikTok that have jumping spiders as pets. And
why?
But they're the ones that are like as big as like a quarter maybe, and they're the fuzzy ones. And I think these are the ones that also have paws. So like if you zoom in, they have little paws like dogs. And I was like, oh, that fucked me up. That fucked me up because somebody told me. Look up up close picture of a jumping spider. They're fucking.
I don't like it. It's got eyes.
What do you turn around? That thing is so cute.
No.
Turn it around. Turn it around right now. Anna, look at it. Looks like a Pixar character.
Nuts.
Yes, it looks like a Pixar character, you little psycho.
No, absolutely
not. Save a few of those, please. So
I'll take a screenshot.
Okay. She has these spiders, and I think they're cute. They look like little Pixar characters. And so I was like, wait, are these exotics? Because I'm very ignorant on the subject of spiders, clearly. Anyway, at my desk at work, my office is very old.
I'm upset.
A few spiders have been fucking with me. They've been coming for me.
A couple?
So every once a week, it was happening for 3 weeks. This is literally how bad it was.
And you kept moving them and taking them outside or killing them, or
they were murdered.
Okay.
That was before I started my last experience. At one point, this was how horrible it was.
You're a serial killer at this point. Spiders and lizards.
Yes. I lift up so the phone rings at work. I pick it up. And as I'm like, blah, 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 this is Jessica, how can I help you? As I say that, a spider comes from behind my phone and is on my phone, and the man starts to talk. I went, sir, I'm so sorry, but there's a spider on my phone.
So on because you're using the landline.
Yes.
So it's on
it's on the number pad. So I pick up the phone, and as I'm saying, blah, 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 this is Jessica, how can I help you? As I'm saying that, and the man starts to be like, oh, this is so-and-so, blah, blah, I need blah, blah, blah. The spider comes from around the back of my phone. Was it on my number pad? And I went, sir, I said, I'm so sorry, but there's a spider on my phone and I don't like spiders and I don't know what you're talking about right now.
I literally cannot absorb anything.
He busts out laughing because he's a customer and he's like dying. And I'm like, oh my God, someone get the spider. Someone get it. And then it moved and I was like, ah! He's all on the phone for this. It was super professional.
You're just like blubbering and like, spider.
So then it happened again on the phone with my salesman. Then the last time it happened, I'm chilling and I look up. And so I have a 2 monitor setup at work. I have like my regular monitor and then I have like the laptop, which is the actual computer on a little stand. And I have like an wireless keyboard or whatever. So I look over and there is a tiny little jump. I mean, I say tiny because I've seen some big fucking spiders. So I'm like, maybe as big as a nickel, probably a quarter. It's still like a smaller spider compared to some of those big ass, like a wolf spider or something. So I look over and he's on my desk or he's on my keyboard for my laptop. And I'm like, I think we both see each other and he goes, and he stops.
He like freezes.
And that's the closest I've ever been to a spider in my life without immediately running and it running. And so
you both just freeze.
We both just froze. And so I had a can of air and I was like and I was just like, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away.
Like, please.
And so then he just kind of was like still on, like he's still on my laptop.
Just kind of like dodging the air.
And I was like, you
like
little
Frogger.
bastard. But then he like, and at one point he moves a little closer, not because I think it was just a reflex to avoid the air. I don't think he was actually going to attack me, but he runs forward and I'm like, oh my God, I can see his little eyes.
No, that's too close.
But that's the closest I've ever been to a spider. And I was like, oh, they look like the pictures. I feel kind of bad, but he died.
Oh, good.
So he was dead. But then I vowed if I could avoid killing one, I will. But sometimes it's just gonna happen. But I have this fear that like, for some reason, and I've always had this fear and I have this weird reflex, like when it comes to a spider, maybe like, or a bug, I don't want to have any exposed skin near them. I feel like if I see a spider, I'm like, BRB, I have to go change into long sleeve everything. If I have a hazmat suit, I'll put it on. Because if you jump and touch my skin, I will kill myself. I am literally going to die. It's not even a fear of getting bitten. Mm. It's the fear of touching me.
Of it crawling on you.
Yes. And then I feel like I need to wear a mask so it can't hop down and like kill me and go down my throat. These are all conscious thoughts when I see a bug.
I wonder if it has something to do with like any.
I experienced. I have trauma. I have memories I've blocked out.
Well, like I was gonna say, I wonder if it has anything to do with like movies we've seen as kids. So the first 2 that come to mind are The Mummy with those scarab beetles that get under people's skin and then eat them from the inside out, and so you see it crawling under the skin. And then the other one is The Matrix, when he gets that like scorpion spider thingy or whatever, and it goes through his belly button and inside of him.
Oh my gosh. Or Alien. But I didn't see Alien till recently. I wasn't into those movies. Alien, I understand, is a huge cult classic. I get it 100%. But yeah, you know, because that's they attach to the face. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Alien?
Yeah, yes, a long time ago.
Like attaches to the face, and then they lay the eggs in your mouth, and then it combusts out of your fucking body, and then it's like, my little alien. That's what happens. That's actually like dialogue in the movie is that. So anyway.
There is a movie that's like it's like a satire type movie.
Tremors. Is it the things in the ground?
No.
Damn.
The end of the movie is that like it's like the thing bursts out of the person like an alien, but then it's like the baby alien thing, but then it's got like a hat and like a cane.
Are you sure it's not a scary movie? Like one of the scary movies?
I don't remember. And then it like starts like dance, like you know how the WB frog used to go like, hello, my baby, hello, my darling, hello, my ragtime gal. Like it's literally doing something like that, like on a bar top. Like beep, 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 beep.
That's how I felt. I won't lie. So if you've seen the movie Alien,
like, someone please tell me what movie that's from, because I know that it exists and it's a scene.
So I'm not gonna lie, Alien is a pretty serious movie or whatever. Now here's the thing. The movie's really good, but then because it was made in like 1979, the first scene, that's not the first scene, but it's the scene where the little alien pops out the guy's fucking ribcage. Let me tell you, I was not expecting the special effect or however they did it of the alien running across the table. I busted out laughing because I'm telling you, I will show you that scene later. The movie's not funny. but it was so unexpected and clearly not up to like, what we can do with movies now. So at the time, I understand that it was groundbreaking, and I'm sure nobody laughed when they saw it because that's not a weird effect to them. But to me, I was like, what the fuck was that thing?
Do you know what movie from the 90s where like the CGI really holds up and the special effects and stuff really holds up is Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
The first Jurassic Park came out in 1990. I think it was 93.
Mm-hmm.
And they were using, like, literally they built computers that hadn't, and programs that hadn't existed before to be able to model and make those like CGI dinosaurs, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me you see that T-Rex and it's like, and then like the whole, you can't tell me you see that and you're like, that looks terrible.
No, it looks stupid.
It looks so good.
So what's funny about Jurassic Park, because we went and saw that. I mean, I know I've seen it multiple times. It's like one of your favorite movies ever. But when we saw that at Wild Adventures or whatever, the theme park here, remember they had movies in the park or whatever during COVID?
Mm-hmm.
And
I vaguely remember that.
We were watching
I don't remember watching the movie so much.
I think we gossiped a lot.
Yes, we did.
But I know, what's the guy, Jeff Goldblum? So everybody's in love with him. But how I think you're a girl, because I think everybody always thinks he's hot.
Mm-hmm.
How I think you're reaching adulthood is when you're like, but the main guy is not bad
who plays,
looking.
Dr. Allen something.
He's pretty good looking too, guys. Don't be sleeping on that because I think he's pretty good looking in that movie. Yeah. I mean, both of them are, but I'm like, he's got like a vibe that I'm into.
He gives off to me the same energy that Dennis Quaid does, because I'm a big Dennis Quaid in his prime fan.
Oh God, Dennis Quaid is Parent Trap.
Is he?
That's Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he's the dad in. Oh, he's good looking. Let me tell you. Yeah, in his prime, he was a hottie. He was a super hottie. Did you know that's the wife? So the mom in the Parent Trap, I guess that was Liam Neeson's wife, and she died in like 2009. I think that was her. Is that correct?
I'm gonna look it up.
I think that's her. Because then I think she got in a skiing accident.
Is it Natasha Richardson?
That sounds like a singer. No, that's Bedingfield.
Yes.
That was Liam Neeson's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She was beautiful. Super beautiful. I'm pretty sure she died from like a skiing accident. And it was like one of those injuries that like it was like she got it and then it was a few days later she passed away. But hearing Liam Neeson talk about her breaks my heart. It like reminds me of the way that John Travolta speaks about his wife. Her name was Preston. Kelly Preston.
Oh, Lisa Marie Presley?
No, not Lisa. No, that's not Presley.
Oh.
Preston. Isn't her last name Preston?
I don't know. You're asking me a lot.
There's a lot of, we're talking about actors, so we'll get into the men's subject in a minute. But now I'm like, who's John Travolta's wife? I think she had
Kelly Preston.
Kelly Preston. I was right. Kelly Preston. Yeah. So, guys, speaking of actors and writers in Hollywood, clearly we are going to be speaking about the writer's strike and the actor's strike.
Yeah.
Which the writer's strike has already been going on for 2 months now, just about.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think a lot of people know why.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that as consumers, we enjoy streaming, as one would. Why wouldn't you? You can watch the things whenever you want. But, traditionally, before like streaming platforms existed, people got paid residuals based off like how often something played on TV, like network broadcasting.
Yeah. So basically you would get whether you're a writer or an actor, depending on what your contract was and your position was on whatever the production is, you get paid your main fee for doing the work up front. And then usually in the contract, you have residuals, which is where you still make money for every time that thing airs. So for every time like an episode of Friends would rerun on TV, then Jennifer Aniston, all the cast get some money from that every single time. And they would also get a portion of money from like licensing fees and stuff like that.
Yeah. So with streaming,
so you're always making money.
Yeah.
And I think most of the time, like, is it residuals or royalties kick in? Isn't it after like 50 episodes? Isn't that a thing?
I don't know that part.
Because most of the time, hold on.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Let me see. because I want to know this so I can be correct on it.
Our sign is making me like, I'm just like, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? You know, if I was ever on that karaoke show, what the lip sync battle, I know what my thing would be immediately. And that song is clearly what I would do. But I have a whole plan. Just so if you guys wanted to know if I'm ever famous enough to lip sync battle, prepare to see Guess Who's Back.
I don't know where I got this like 50 episode thing from
I have no clue.
I heard it once maybe. I don't know. But so basically this article from backstage.com says that this is according to SAG-AFTRA, residuals are compensation paid to performers for use of a theatrical motion picture or television program beyond the use covered by initial compensation. So for TV, it begins once a show starts re-airing or is released to video/DVD, pay television, broadcast TV, basic cable, or new media. For film work, residuals begin once the movie appears on video/DVD, basic cable, and free or pay television or new media.
So basically, so for instance, like if you film a show, and I'm assuming the first time it airs, that doesn't count.
Yeah, so like the release at
any reruns.
So if it's a TV, if it's a movie, when it airs at the cinema, that doesn't count.
Yes.
It's when it goes to like direct to TV or DVD or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you would.
But like let's just say like the Vampire Diaries or something. They film that season. The first time the season airs, like
the first time each episode airs, there's no,
but it's every
time after.
Once it technically reruns. See, and that's where I think things also get super tricky because how does that work with streaming?
So with streaming, I would think
because there's no initial, it doesn't get released on TV. How do you measure the first time I watched it versus if I've watched it 20 times?
Yeah, that's fair. I would think.
And I know that's part of the problem is that they're like,
well, you basically, because you're trying to take the way that it works with standard like traditional TV, you're trying to take that and apply that to new media, and that doesn't work because they don't work the same and they're not used the same way by the consumer.
Exactly.
Right? So like it would be similar to like, okay, so say on traditional TV, like an episode of a TV show airs for the first time, it's a new episode, but somebody doesn't watch it right then and they like DVR it or they record it, TiVo it, whatever, and they watch it back later. You know, you're not making it as an actor, you're not making residuals off that because it's not a re-air. It has to be re-aired, like quote unquote live by the station, the channel, the company that actually owns that channel.
Yeah, but see, at least then though, even if you would have like DVR was a big thing, TiVo or whatever, like you said, you know, if you're like, oh well, I'm not going to be able to I'll be at work, so I'll record it. Well, that's okay because they weren't going to make money off that first airing anyway. But even if you were like, oh, I want to record the rerun, they're going to get paid when the rerun ran anyway. Yeah. Whether you recorded it or not, they're still getting paid. So it's like,
and also they're not getting paid per view.
Yeah.
On that re-airing of an episode, they're getting paid each time it re-airs in that time, whatever block it airs in.
They get their stuff.
Is it based on?
It's based on viewership.
Oh, okay.
So that's another big reason that they're pissed off is like Gilmore Girls.
Okay, well then that changes things.
Yeah, it's a huge
ignore
deal.
What I said because I was wrong.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. So like, remember Kirk from Gilmore Girls? He was talking about. I saved the video on my phone, and maybe I'll put it up here. But basically, he was like, he plays Kirk. And we love Kirk.
He's in a lot of episodes.
I think almost every member is in every episode. And so Gilmore Girls has blown up again. Just like the Vampire Diaries has blown up again. Pretty Little, all these shows.
Streaming. Yeah.
You're streaming them. But he's basically saying, Netflix, where's the money? Because these are getting millions and millions of streams. We don't get paid for that. And that's not fair.
Well, they don't even know how many streams they're getting because
they always kept it secret.
They haven't been required and they don't volunteer that information. Yeah. So like, and part of the reason they don't volunteer that information is because they were trying to avoid this, which is having to pay for the views.
Yeah. So you have the writers so actors and writers, it was based off, if it reruns, you get something, but viewership, both of them are.
So like I guess you get like cents on the dollar per each view.
I guess. Yeah.
Each time it re-airs.
So it's like, you have these people that we're consuming their art and their work, and they're not getting paid for it. But the thing is here's what doesn't make sense to me is you have these companies, you have like the CEO of Disney who came out and said that the writers and actors are being unrealistic and that there's no money in streaming and all this. How that being said, how are these people, and this is what Kirk said, well, not I forget his real name, but the actor that plays Kirk in this video, he basically says, well, then how were you able to give, like, I think he mentions 2 people in Netflix, gave
His
themselves...
name is Sean Gunn.
That's right, Sean Gunn.
He related to...
I don't know. But he talks about, so if there's no money in all of this, how are you able to give yourselves millions and millions of... like?
He's related to James Gunn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's his brother.
But it's like, so there's no money in this, but you have like a $300 million bonus you gave yourself as CEOs, or millions and millions and millions of dollars. Where's that money coming from? And why isn't it trickling down to the people that, you know, you're making money off of, clearly? So if you wanted to tell me that, listen, there's really no money in streaming, and there wasn't, then fine. But clearly there's money somewhere because y'all keep getting richer and richer, and you're taking advantage of these people that provide you the actual workers that make this possible. So now the actors have went on strike, and it happened last week. And this is the first time in the 63 years that the writers and actors, like that SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild, have ever been on strike together. So it's been 63 years since that's happened. So when the writers were on strike, you know, anything that was already written could be in production. Now everything stopped because you can't make shit without actors.
Nope.
I gotta take a breath.
Yeah, you're just going. But no, so the getting back to like the streaming thing too is like part of the problem, and part of what, you know, has been a problem for years is that they won't release the numbers, and they won't tell you. And it's not even like, it's an issue when it comes to like residuals or royalties or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But then it's also an issue where like when fan favorite like TV shows or, you know, shows on Netflix or whatever get canceled after 1 season or 2 seasons, and you're like, no, but this was popular. Like everyone that I knew online was talking about the show and watching it. Why did it get canceled? And if they, all they have to say is, oh, low viewership. And it's like, but we don't know that because you're not required to release the numbers, and you don't.
Exactly.
It's like, or it's also like, when Netflix says, oh, these are the top 10 movies or TV shows or what's hot right now in Netflix, you know, in the US, and they're showing you, it's like, how do we know that? How do we know you're not just putting what you want?
Yeah.
You know, maybe some of it's true. Maybe it is true that, you know, these 2 or 3 TV shows are in the top 10 being watched right now.
Yeah.
Because they are new releases and people care about them. But then like, how do we also not know that you're just trying to make sure people are watching or being told like, hey, this is popular, you should watch this new thing that we just acquired or just added to our platform?
Oh, I mean,
it's their right to do and to advertise and push it and put it on your homepage, you know, but then like put it on a section where it's like, this is what's new, not artificially like bloat, like, you know, this is the top 10 and like make it a lie.
I mean, it's really disgusting. So an example that's just absolutely disgusting to see where people take advantage of other people is like Squid Games. That became a gigatonic show. That guy did not become rich off that show. The guy that wrote it and directed it and all of that. Because in his original, they gave him this original contract or whatever. And I guess within the contract, there was no like, you know, they're not going to base it off streams and all that because they don't have contracts that I guess offer that. And so this show became, quote, you know, the #1 show everywhere. I mean, and it like broke records, even like in like with the awards. He got fucked. And it's unacceptable and ridiculous. And it's just like, so you want to make all, and it's like so fucking frustrating, especially because like that was a Korean show and they were trying to reach out and, you know, broaden their like international like content. And it's like, and the first thing you fucking do is take advantage of somebody. And you know you did it. Like, you know you fucking did it. It's disgusting.
And yeah, part of the problem too, I think there's a big misconception among a lot of people, the majority of the public actually, that they think that most people that work in Hollywood are hella rich.
Exactly.
And
like,
the
no.
majority are not. A very small percentage make a good amount of money. And it's usually actually the producers the directors, if you're a big name director,
Exactly.
and then the A-list stars.
Yeah.
Like people gave so much shit to Sydney Sweeney, who was in Euphoria. She was in a season of The White Lotus. They gave her so much shit when she did an interview, basically saying that, you know, she can't afford to take 6 months off and not work or just go on vacation or just do whatever. She's like, I can't afford to do that because I have to work. I'm a working actor. Like, I don't make enough money to do that. And people gave her so much shit because they're like, I'm sure you made plenty and you just blah, 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 like all this shit. And it's like,
you really have no idea, dude.
She's like, you don't know. I can barely afford to live off of what I made. Like, I have to keep working and taking jobs. I have to do brand deals and, like, you know, sponsorships and stuff to make money.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's like first of all, most of the people that are writers, most of the people that are actors, like you said, they're not making multi-millions of dollars. There's even people that you might see on TV all the time. Guess they're not multi-millionaires, dude. Not all.
They might make a couple $1,000s per, you know, episode that they're in if they have a good deal. But even like most working actors, the majority of them a lot of them are background actors.
Yep.
Or like they're like they do a bunch of like smaller parts. They're not doing all these big blockbuster movie. Blockbuster is so funny because it doesn't exist anymore. But they're not doing these big blockbuster hits or these big popular TV shows. The majority of actors are quote unquote working actors.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make that kind of money.
No.
What did you say that you told me the other day? The average
it's $187 per day.
Is the base pay
for like a background actor.
A background actor.
Yeah.
So like,
whether you're working 2 hours, whether you're working 12 hours.
Yeah.
That's like what you're getting paid per day. And so another thing that I don't think people have, which it's frustrating because it's like one of the misconceptions of everybody thinking every actor and writer is rich, and it's not true.
How much did you say? 187?
I think it was around I think I was watching a video where they were saying like around 187. I think that meeting when the president of SAG was talking, it was like 180 something.
If you work a standard like 12-hour day, which most productions are 12 hours, because if you're like a SAG or whatever, if you're using union people, I don't think you can go over 12 hours without paying hella fees and fines.
Yeah.
So that averages out to $15.58 per hour if you're working 12 hours a day as a background actor, which is like not a lot.
Especially over in LA, dude.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Like, that's quote a livable wage, but you're also, as a background actor,
that's 12 hours, dude.
Yeah.
12 hours. Like like shifts normally like 8-hour shifts or like, you know, okay, 8 to 5 kind of a thing. But
like,
no.
it's long days. It's
a lot of just standing around doing, like, you're just waiting this, waiting that, doing, which might not sound like it's a lot of work, but for every single day, that's what you get paid. And it's just, first of all, that's just unacceptable.
And you're also not being taken care of the way that all these other stars and celebrities are being taken care of.
And another thing I think is, like, it's not even just about, they're making $15 an hour, just that, you know, if we break it down like that. How much overall did that show or movie make, though? And that's what you paid your lowest worker that's like, also compare it to that. Is that an acceptable wage for how much this made? Absolutely not. No, it's not.
And then, I mean, too, like, do I think that background actors should necessarily get like residuals and royalties and stuff like that? I mean, maybe. I don't know the industry that well, but I mean, obviously it wouldn't be the same rate as like what the, you know, star of the show is going to get.
But a background actor and an extra aren't the same.
Yeah.
So no, an extra is not making residuals, but a background actor is someone who speaks. And that is based on like your role within whatever. Now,
so background actor could be just like
remember in Pulp Fiction when they're sitting in the beginning and it's like the guy and the girl at the diner, and they have the girl who walks up and she goes, "Garzon means boy." That's like a background actor.
Yeah, they have like small lines.
Yeah, very small. So, and that's like the whole idea is back in the, like, you could be an extra and then become a background actor, which makes you eligible to be SAG if you speak.
Okay.
So that was always something that they were like, if you're ever on a set and you say they need someone to say a line, me, because it immediately changes your stat, and you have to pay them more money than an extra.
Yeah.
So something else that is like a huge deal is so like the major motion picture company or whatever, when they were renegotiating with SAG,
which it was several of the streaming services.
Yeah.
It was like Netflix, Amazon, Disney.
I'm sure I don't know who all was there, but I know Netflix and Disney for sure. So they came forward and they were saying that they described it as an amazing AI breakthrough like type of deal, right? Using AI. Here's what that deal means. That deal means, hey, we should be able to pay a background actor for 1 day's work, scan their face, and then...
And body.
And body. And then use them in any future... And that's all they're going to get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they'll get paid for 1 day's work, so $187, right?
Yep.
We'll be able to use their face in any future project in any way we see fit without their consent or ever paying them again.
And without their knowledge. You can literally make them look like they're doing anything you want.
Yep.
And they'll use AI to do it.
And that was what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. Despicable and just absolutely disgusting. So you want to... What the fuck are you even talking about? That's like, how did that get brought up? And they're like, that seems fucking reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's scan your face. Never, ever pay you again after that. And we'll just put you in anything we want ever. We own it forever. Forever. Like, your name and likeness forever. They can use how they want. Could you imagine you're a background actor and then you become famous? And there's that company still owns your name and likeness and can put you as a background, like, in anybody else's movie ever. Or you become a famous actor, and what can they then put you as a supporting role without your fucking knowledge? Like, what are you fucking talking about? No, it's unacceptable. It's disgusting. What do you mean? Like, how is that even a real conversation? And so that was another reason that they were like, no. Absolutely not. And it's like, I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. And it's like, it's not just, it's like AI is supposed to be a tool that we use to make jobs easier. It is not made to replace us. No. That's ridiculous. And it's like Disney wants to talk about how, this is happening during a horrible time in the economy and people are being selfish or doing whatever. And I'm like, Hold up. Let's just take a minute to think about this.
To me, it is never the people on strike that are the ones that are being unreasonable or the ones holding up progress or the ones hurting the economy.
Yeah.
It is the people refusing to negotiate or come to terms with the people on strike.
100%.
People don't go on strike for shits and giggles.
No, it's a huge deal because it affects their pocket too. Because these are everyday people. So yeah, you have like the Oppenheimer cast and I was like, good for them. They did their job, and as soon as the strike was announced and it was final, they left the premiere because actors aren't allowed to promote things. They're not allowed to do anything, really. Mm-hmm. And I think it is great that these big movie stars are going and supporting the, SAG.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of actors that have went out and supported the writers. Yep. But they also have obligations, and contract obligations that they had to go fulfill, so they couldn't just go pick it. Now they can.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of them out there.
They won't face contractual backlash either because... I'm pretty sure it's in their contract that, like, if they're a part of the union and the union goes on strike, then they don't have to fulfill those obligations.
Yeah, well, they can't.
Yeah, because they can't.
So, and it's like, and it also, this thing for anybody, this is something I was doing research into this because, so I am a signed actor. I have an agent, and I'm not a part of SAG. That being said, if you're a writer or an actor, this is not the time to think, okay, like I might have a chance to make it.
Yeah, because the normal people who work in Hollywood and are doing all these things are on strike. So like, now's my time. The production companies are going to be desperate. So anyone that's willing to do anything, they will.
They will. And what's going to happen though is don't fall for that shit. Because if you don't have to be a part of these unions. But if the goal is one day that you want to be, don't go against what they're doing or you will not be eligible to ever join this union. So one of the things I noticed is that there's a list of companies that have been struck basically.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like you can't do anything with them.
Now you can't even self-tape. You can't even send an audition. Mm-hmm. I do self-tapes. So I'm like, I'm going to have to pay attention too, which I mean, I know my agent will be well aware of this as well. Mm-hmm. Of like, is this going to be, will you be struck? Mm-hmm. Or would this be something that like you can't do? Like if you were SAG, you couldn't do it because I'm not going to do a damn thing that would go against the union because the whole point is to be a part of the union because even right now, even if somebody's like, hey, I'll pay you this much money to write this or I'll pay you this much money to be in this, it seems great right now. But when this is over with, you're going to wish you were a part of the union, and you don't want to fuck that up for yourself in the future, because this is going to get solved somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just be aware. Do not go against what they're doing. Even if you're not a part of SAG or the Writers Guild, support them if this is like your passion, because you don't want to fuck yourself.
Well, even like, so like Matt, it was funny. I don't know if you saw the clip of Matt Damon when he did an interview talking about the strike and everything. And there was a news outlet, I forget which one. I think it was The Atlantic, but I'm not 100%. But they basically put out a tweet with a clip of his interview, but like they had to retract it because the clip they put out, they edited it or cut it short in such a way that it altered the meaning, because it made it sound like he wasn't for the strike.
Oh, he's for it for sure.
He's 100% for it.
Yeah.
And so it made it sound like he wasn't for it, but like that wasn't his complete statement. And so it took it out of context. And then they took the tweet down and put out another tweet apologizing and saying, here's like the full like chunk of the clip or whatever in its entirety, like so you can see the context of it. We apologize to Matt Damon and blah 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 blah. We'll do better. And someone like quote tweeted that and said something about like, oh, his lawyers were on their ass. His lawyers were like, bitch.
Well, and that's another thing that someone was talking about. Anytime someone goes on strike, you're going to start seeing all these major media outlets downing the unions, acting like they're
the problem.
They're the problem. They're gonna start dogging them, doing all this shit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, bro, are you fucking for real?
Because all these media outlets are owned either by the companies that are getting striked against, or they're like either owned directly by them, or it's like a sister company, and they like there's a network of
or they're
whatever.
all buddies somehow, jerking each other off or whatever, like a bunch of fucking assholes. And so,
or like the person that owns this one also owns this news network and all this stuff.
It's just like it's just unacceptable and ridiculous. And like, and then you had sent me the video, and I'd seen that where one executive is like, he let them be homeless, let them lose their houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you are a piece of shit. Like, how can you be a lover of film and not want to support the people behind it? Like, yeah, and they're
because
not.
they're not. They're in it solely for the money. Maybe they started out
and I'm like
about the art of it and stuff like that, but no, they're about the money. There's no way, no matter what the industry is, in my opinion, there is no way you can say that you truly are doing it because you enjoy it and love it. There's no way you can do that and also like morally be okay with making, was it 300 or 3,000? How much? 3,000 times what your lowest like paid employee.
I think
works.
Standard, it used to be like you would make 30 times more than the standard employee. And
no, Standard used to be 4 times. Used to be your lowest paid employee. Like if you're the CEO, owner, whatever, you make 4 times what they make.
Did that change with Reagan? Because I know when Sean Gunn had mentioned that. I thought he said 30 times, and now it's like hundreds of times more.
It used to be like 30 times.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just so ridiculous. And I'm like, listen.
Yeah. So it said in 2021, in 2021, it was estimated that the CEO to worker compensation ratio in the United States was 398.8. That indicates that on average, CEOs in the US receive almost 400 times the annual average salary of production and non-supervisory workers in the key industry of the firm. And that was a statistic from Statista.com.
That's just, how is that real life? Like, how is that real? It's like, and I don't understand people. And I know that it's based on ignorance. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that it's like people who just really, truly aren't aware and aren't educating themselves. Because I understand that, like, if you're working a normal 9-to-5 job and you hear actors and writers are on strike, you just see the word Hollywood and you're like, bro, I can't relate to those people whatsoever. But I think something that's important to understand is, like, for me, even if I wasn't like a film lover where I love movies, I love shows, all that kind of shit. But at the end of the day, entertainment relaxes us. We get off work, we're going to go watch TV, we're going to watch a movie, we're going to relax, help it, like an escapism thing. There's people that make that for you to do that. There's writers that write that, actors that are in it. There's this whole crew on it. And it's just like, those people provide this for you and they're not being compensated the way that they should be. And so that's what it's about. It's not about the CEO. It's not about the A-list stars. It's about these like the little guy. And another thing too, that's what I was saying earlier, when the CEO of Disney said they're being unrealistic and stuff, because, this also affects like craft services, people that provide like craft service and food and all that kind of people that rent out trailers. Anybody that has anything to do with a movie set and provides a service to a movie set is also halted. So, I mean, the movie industry is $1 billion industry in the U.S. Like a couple billion. I had looked it up. Can't remember the number, but it's huge.
A huge part of our economy. Like entertainment in general.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what's funny to me, though, he's pointing that out, right? So how... Let's just back up to the whole AI thing. If you scan people's faces and you never need to hire them again, you can use them any way you want, isn't that less people on future sets, less craft service, less trailers, less anything that is on a movie set? How is that not going to affect the economy, you stupid bitch? What the fuck do you mean? You're a fucking idiot. And like, what do you mean, man? Like I genuinely can't wrap my mind around it.
What do you think is better for the economy? Do you think it's better to give $1 million to one person and they spend that? Or is it better to take $1 million and split it up amongst 10 people that each get 100,000 or 100 people that each get 10,000? Is that how math works? I feel like that works.
I feel like that.
Sure.
The principle is there.
But yeah, it's like, what do you think the economy is going to be boosted more?
By you paying somebody $187 for one fucking day and then using it for the rest of their time till the world ends? Like, what do you mean? How is that helping the economy?
So looking at the CEO to, this is just wild to me. Looking at the CEO to worker pay ratio. So this is according to the Economic Policy Institute. So according to this article I'm reading, it says that in 1965, the ratio was 20 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
In 1989, so like 25 years later, it was 59 to 1. So it rose by about 39. Ratio rose by 39. And then it says that in 2021, it was 399 to 1.
Like, what the fuck?
So it says that from 1978 to 2021, CEO pay based on realized compensation grew by 1,460%. In contrast, compensation of the typical worker grew by just 18.1% in the same time span.
And it's just like,
it says that the and it's even wilder because it says during the pandemic in particular. So during the pandemic, we have millions of people losing their jobs, getting laid off. You have a lot of cutbacks on spending. But it says that during the first year of the pandemic, so millions of jobs are lost during the first year of the pandemic. A lot of people are suffering wage declines due to inflation in the second year of the pandemic. CEOs' realized compensation jumped 30.3% between 2019 and 2021. And then the typical worker compensation among those who remained employed rose by 3.9%. So that's that's a 1 in 10 difference.
Like, how is this even like a real conversation?
Look, I get 100% that the person in charge,
I expected them to make more money than me, bro.
I expect them to. Like, we're not saying everyone needs to make the same amount across the board.
No, that doesn't make sense.
But there's no way if I enjoy what I'm doing, if I love the work that I'm doing, if I'm not in it solely for money, there's no way even if I was in it solely for money, there's no way I could feel good having that big of a pay discrepancy between myself and all my lowest level employees. Like, to me, if we as a company are making, above and beyond, I'm not paying myself a $300 or $400 million bonus, Bob Iger.
Bitch.
I'm not paying that to myself.
You old stupid bitch.
Maybe I'll give myself some, but I would prefer to spread that among the employees and reward people.
So I think I've told you this before, and I don't work here anymore, and it's been forever, but I clearly won't say the name, but I worked at a place, and I worked there a very long time, and, we were all very close, a smaller office, and I had, But eventually, very unhappy, ended up leaving, whatever. Mind you, I saw my boss every day. They knew our struggles. So they knew like their lowest paid employees' struggles, right? Like every single day we spoke, all this kind of a thing, because like of how the office functions.
Where it's like
we're a family. That's what they would say. We're a family.
That's the most toxic. Never believe.
Canceled. This person. Hold on. I don't want to say the sex. So we're a family. That's what they say. We're always family. But he's like, fuck, Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel, family. But this person, I come to find out, we would get yearly bonuses. And, you're made to be like, you need to be grateful you got a fucking thing, basically, which I was. Well, clearly I know that their salary was way more than mine. Their bonus was also double what I made in a year. And I found that out after I had already quit.
It's like, so your bonus would be like a fraction of a paycheck, of like one paycheck.
No, my bonus was my bonus was probably like, at the time, maybe let's just put it in this way. If I was making $500 or so every 2 weeks, which is not shit. I think my bonus was like $1,000.
Okay.
Mind you, this person already makes way more money than me. Because and they were the manager. I would expect them to. They're the general manager. They're like the biggest person at this company besides who owns it. Their bonus, and they're the ones that go and ask for these things. They have to go to corporate, all this kind of stuff. Their bonus was double what I fucking made in a whole year. And that's the kind of shit that's like, what? That's your play money.
Yeah.
Your play money is what I can barely live off of. I can't live off of. That's why I fucking left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's happening. The actors and everything are going through this, but this is something that I think a lot of people can fucking relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like that, they didn't feel the need to go, hey, let me actually distribute this wealth that I expect to get them to get something. I would $10,000. But whatever, sure.
But it's also like, it's the same, it's the idea, and it goes back to like the way capitalism works, right? So the person who actually has like the skilled labor. So say we have a factory where we're manufacturing, say it's the Model T Ford, where we have a factory and we're manufacturing automobiles. And there are actual workers. It's not machines doing it. It's actual people in the factories creating these products that are then sold for money, right? Why is it that the people who actually make the product are not considered as valuable as the person who just owns the company or owns the factory, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, without the workers you don't have the skilled labor. As the owner, most of the time, the CEO doesn't have the skilled labor to do what they actually are putting out. So like, there's no way that like Jeff Bezos knows how to make the stuff he sells on Amazon, right?
No.
He knows how to run a business.
He doesn't even know how to ship it.
Yeah. So like, he wouldn't know how to put it in a box and put a postage stamp on it,
No.
So it's like, the people who actually have the skilled labor it's in the factory making the car, whatever it is, they're not getting compensated but they're making the thing that is actually making money.
Yeah.
So it's like, that to me is really fucked up, because it's like, they're being paid something for it, but they are the ones actually creating this thing. So you don't have any skilled labor. You're sitting your ass making all this money hand over fist, like, but you can't spread that wealth to the people who are actually the ones making you that money. Which exactly. I will say that for Model T Ford, I will say that Henry Ford I think he was the one that was one of his things, that he wanted to be able to manufacture automobiles that his employees could afford. So he like paid his employees well, and then also set the price point of the cars so that he was like, there's no point in us making a product that our employees can't afford to buy.
Well, yeah, because
I'm like, disclaimer.
We're not Ford haters.
No.
So yeah, it's just like very just ridiculous. And I'm like, listen, as long as this takes, it'll take as long as it needs to. And I hope that people understand that it's not these multi-million-dollar actors that are complaining. But I would like to say one thing about that is, okay, sure. Let's just say you're in a blockbuster hit, right? And this movie, not just, let's just say overall profits, $300 million. In your original contract, you got paid $5 million to do the said movie. And then how the box office goes and all that. And then it turns out, though, they made 300, at the end of the day, after all that's said and done with, $300 million is what they made. Is $5 million even comparable? It's not. It's really fucking not. So it's like, yes, to us, it's clearly, I'd love to have $5 million. I would too. And as somebody who, has never had that kind of money, clearly I'm like, fuck, that'd be dope. But then look at how much money everybody else makes in comparison to your $5 million. Mm-hmm. That's still unacceptable.
Yep.
So it's like, no, they're not the ones complaining and going, because they end up, they're able to negotiate themselves better deals eventually. Not every fucking actor can do that, by the way.
Well, that's why Scarlett Johansson got into that thing with Disney over the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this all comes back to, again, the streaming issue where
she was promised a theatrical release of her movie.
Because she also had written her contract, she received a bonus. There was incentives for, like, based on how ticket sales were and how the movie performed at the box office, there were incentives for her to get bonuses and make more money. And when they decided not to do a theatrical release and release, or did they do?
They did one, but they released it on streaming as well.
The same day or whatever.
So it violated their, and she won.
Yeah. Because they basically were, I think they went to theaters and streaming either the same day or within like 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, and it was a huge deal.
She wasn't it wasn't written into her contract, I think, that she would make.
There was nothing for streaming.
There was nothing for her to make for streaming. Because even then, like, because at that time when the movie was released, they were doing like the Disney Plus was like, if you want to see like a new release that was going to streaming at the same time, you had to pay like an extra, I think it was like $25 to get access to that new release.
Yeah.
And she's like not going to see any of that money. And she was like, fuck you.
Exactly. And I'm like, no, if you want to have movies streaming, new movies, and if you want to release them in the theater and streaming at the same time, people still need to pay for them. And some of that money needs to go. Because by the way, I understand like $25 for a whole household. You might have 2, 5, 10 people at your house. Some of that should still go to, it should be treated the exact same as the movie sales are at the theater. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they want to use this outdated model and apply it to streaming, and it doesn't work.
Nope. It's a new media and there's new rules because the way that it is used by the consumer is different.
And it's like, bruh, y'all the one that made the streaming stuff.
Mm-hmm. And y'all are the ones that decided to go straight to streaming and not release certain things on traditional media anymore, traditional TV channels.
The truth is, if you didn't, we'd have to just go to the theater like we was already up, like kind of doing, y'all. Yep. So, I mean, you changed it because you saw money in it. Mm-hmm. Why else would you fucking start it?
And there's also a way to combat like the illegal streaming and stuff. Because I can't tell you, I will neither confirm nor deny.
I know a friend who used to pirate stuff all the time.
And watch stuff on Mega Video.
They said Pirate Bay, and I was like, what's that? Crazy, you're in trouble.
Yep.
I would never. What's LimeWire? But never. I've heard of it. LimeWire. Yeah, LiveWire's LiveWire's the Mountain Dew. It's the orange one. LimeWire's the music.
There was this website called I don't know if it's still around. It's called Sidereel, which it used to be, and they've changed it now. It used to be a site where you could search for like TV shows and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was user submitted, but they would have links to like the pirated versions where you could watch it online. So some of the links worked and some didn't. But then once they really started cracking down on the streaming stuff or illegal streaming and stuff, they switched their model to where it was more almost functioned like a TV guide, to where it's like, here's, where you can see the list of all the shows and here's like a calendar of when everything's airing. And it was more like that.
Yeah.
Versus, and they had to get rid of all the links. And I'm like, you sneakies.
Yo, I remember my friend, they would use Pirate Bay or uTorrent, and then like they would download the stuff, and it was a whole thing back in the day. But you know what? Half of those movies, for what my friend said, there's always some motherfucker in the theater with the damn head in the way anyway. So it's punishment.
A lot of it, I think, was
just someone sticking the damn cell phone in there.
Well, even like certain TV shows, I think that some people would probably either rip them from the DVDs or like if there was a way to screen record while it's playing or something.
Yeah.
And that's what they uploaded. Because sometimes some of them versions that my friend would watch
Yeah.
were kind of like squished or
Yeah.
like sped up a little
And I was
bit,
like-
or the screen was like mirrored, so it's
Mhm.
like flipped and the words are
That's
backwards.
what they said. And I was like, how did you watch that?
Or like it's got Spanish subtitles on it.
Sometimes it might be in a different language and you
Portuguese.
dubbed.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it like subbed instead. So, y'all the ones that changed it. And we just went with the flow.
And now the flow ain't working no more.
And because at first, another thing is like, Netflix, you're the one that decided to do all this original content shit.
Yeah.
So how the fuck did you decide to pay people? Bitch? Like the fuck?
Yeah. And so, and even then, like, so we mostly talked about like the actors and stuff, but it really started with
the writers.
the writers. And writers get paid shit. They're treated like shit.
They're treated like shit. They're not appreciated. And I'm like, you literally wouldn't have a fucking thing without writers, bro. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? So that's the other thing, they're also not being paid like the correct residuals from streaming, and that's what they're trying to argue. Wanting to be paid. They're wanting to be compensated fairly. And another thing with writers is, it's not like the people that are making these big scripts, on your everyday like sitcom that you like. There's multiple writers for TV. Like you have the creator, and then you oftentimes have writers underneath of that. And so there's a lot of quote no-name writers that's fine with them. And a lot of writers are actors, dude. There's a lot that do both. And so they kind of started this because they're like, no, we want to be fucking compensated. And it's like, I think a lot of it has to also do with like the streaming, because it's really just, if there's not money in it, how are the top dogs getting richer and richer, and they're the only ones seeing money? So where is it coming from? And why are you having these conversations at stockholder meetings talking about the money in streaming and why people shouldn't pull out of your company? But you're saying there's money in streaming, but then you come back and say there's no money in streaming to pay people. So what the fuck are you talking about? There either is or there isn't. Someone's getting richer, so where's the money coming from? Where is it? Bitch. That's my word. I'm Jesse Pinkman.
And so the two things real quick was that I sent you a video I had seen on Twitter of Ron Perlman, who, if you don't know, for those who don't know, he was in Sons of Anarchy. He played like the main like older guy, the stepdad. He was like
I never watched that.
He was like he was Hellboy, right? Ron Perlman. He was in Hellboy.
My Hellboy was
Was he not?
the guy from Stranger Things. That's my Hellboy.
No, Ron Perlman was in.
I was like, and I can't think of his name right now. I'm sorry.
Ron Perlman was in the 2004 Hellboy. He played Hellboy.
Okay, can we just verify that the guy from Stranger Things is also Hellboy before I make an ass of myself?
Well, was there like a remake or something?
I need to make sure I'm not just a dumbass.
There was a 2019 film,
No.
Hellboy.
I'm like, I need to know this now. He's Hopper from Stranger Things. I can't remember his real name. He's married to Lily Allen. He's the
David
one
Harbour. Yeah, he's in the 2019 one.
He was in one forever ago.
2019 was 4 years ago.
No, I mean, like, I remember seeing this motherfucker, I feel like, in something. Maybe I'm fucking batshit crazy.
I think you are, because there's a 2004 and then there was the 2008 sequel, but Ron Perlman was in both of those.
What the fuck? Anyway,
Anywho, so
sorry.
he did this video. So basically, he was responding to there was an anonymous studio exec who said, basically, we're going to hold strong and not negotiate or not meet the demands of the writers and actors who are on strike, because they're eventually going to start losing their homes and not be able to pay their rent and be homeless or whatever. And he responded and said, in what I would interpret as a vaguely threatening, menacing sort of way, that karma comes back on people who wish that kind of evil on other people. And he's like, there's more than one way to like lose your house. You don't just lose it only from like not paying your rent or your mortgage. Like, you can lose your house in other ways, especially if you say stupid shit and wish evil on other people, and then people happen to find out where you live. Like, there's other ways, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, bitch.
The way he said it, I was like, holy shit. And I was like, oh my God, he has like dead ass murked somebody.
You know what
I
I'm
swear.
wondering? So what I'm curious of is, could the writers and actors, since they're on strike together, could they do like an OnlyFans or a Patreon and create content together? As long as it's not with the struck companies, like, could they have directors who aren't part of the struck companies, and could you have people like donate money to that to create content and then be able to?
You can, no, I think so the strike is like a complete stoppage of all work related to any of that.
But I'm saying, like, if you're not working with a struck company, though,
I don't think it matters.
because I'm like,
Because like the thing is, like, you don't want to be, you can't do any paid work. So like if you, while you're on strike, are working on scripts for future projects or whatever, that's fine. But you can't do work on anything you're actively getting paid for during the strike that's happening.
I'm like, I feel like there's got to be some loophole that we could all join together and like pay them.
Well, you can donate. They have things where you can donate to help with like the strike and like cover expenses and fees and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main point of the strike is like it's a stoppage of all work, because it's like our work matters. And when we stop working, you have to pay attention to what we're doing. It's similar to a boycott.
Yeah.
Where it's like the only way that you're going to be like, you're going to stop and actually pay attention is when it starts to affect your bottom dollar.
I feel like banks need to be like, y'all on strike. You know what? We gonna treat us like the student loans. Y'all pay us eventually. They need to get on board, but they can't because they're all buddies with Disney.
Yeah.
Flying on jets together and shit.
So then the other thing was that you had told me that the, I guess, president of
she's
of SAG-AFTRA, you were like, oh my God, she like, when she did the initial like I guess press statement, or what's it called?
Basically the press release.
Yeah, where
like,
she was
they
like,
announced the strike.
When they announced the strike, you're like, she's a badass bitch, and she was just handing them their ass and telling them what's what. And so you were just like, she's awesome.
Queen.
I love her, queen. And so I happened to be on Twitter and I saw a clip of it, and I'm like, this woman looks really familiar. And I heard her voice, and then I'm like reading the caption and the replies and stuff, and I'm like, this bitch is Fran Drescher, the nanny. I'm like, I had no idea she was the president of SAG-AFTRA.
I didn't even realize that was her. And then I was like, holy fuck, that is her.
I'm like, she's
the
an
nanny.
icon. She's great.
So I want to link that below. So if you're YouTube, in the link, like, in the description below, we'll link her speech.
We can link it in the show notes too for the audio listeners.
Because I'm like, dude, it's like worth a listen. Because I mean, they definitely explain it way better than we do. Because I mean, it's their business, and
and they got their list of demands and everything.
Yeah. So it's definitely like just, she's like a queen. She's like my new idol.
She's like, Bob Iger is so out of touch. She said, when he said that the list of demands they had were so unreasonable, she said he is so out of touch. If I was Disney, I would lock him in a room somewhere and never let him out to speak to anybody about anything, because he has no idea what he's talking about.
Exactly.
I was like,
Get
work.
him.
I was like, period.
Yes. So yeah, guys, listen, pro strike.
Mm-hmm.
Also, watch out. Y'all might want to be doing some research. UPS workers might be going on strike, and that's going to fucking suck ass.
Ooh.
If that happens. That's like might be towards the end of July. I don't know a lot about that yet. I'll try to do some research. But, well, guys,
I was going to say, real quick, it's important to note, too, that SAG and the Writers Guild are not calling for a consumer boycott yet.
Yeah.
So, like, you can still go watch Barbenheimer.
I'm seeing Barbenheimer.
So they haven't called for a stoppage or a consumer boycott. So
please don't tell after those movies come out, because like I want to respect you guys, but I really want to see Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
I want to see Barbie and Oppenheimer.
I want to see Barbie.
I feel like these movies go together. Like at this point, like
that's a lot of movie watching, and like,
well, we better fucking enjoy it.
I'm gonna have to take a nap.
Be one of the last. We don't gotta see it in the same day. I mean, kind of like feel like
the way you have been pitching this to me, it's you see Oppenheimer and then you go see Barbie after, and I'm like, can we take a break?
I don't know that you'll want to after Oppenheimer. You're probably gonna fucking just walk out and be like, what? Help! Because it's gonna be. Whew. Well, anyway,
I'll bring tissues.
I don't think that it's like even a crying thing. I think we just, from my understanding, you just walk out and you're like, the world is fucked at any second, and
I don't need that kind of anxiety in my life.
Well, we're gonna get it because Christopher Nolan is a god. So anyway.
I do like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
Killian. What's his name? Killian?
I don't know, but he's like an amazing fucking actor. Yes. So he's so fucking good. It's crazy. Like, okay, Peaky Blinders, dope. Okay, guys. So this is the welcome back episode.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And don't forget to like, subscribe on all of our different social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, which I know some of you who cares about Twitter, but we're not on Threads as of now because you got to delete. If you download Threads, here's some advice. If you download Threads, it's linked to your Instagram, and if you ever want to delete Threads, it deletes your Instagram. So just FYI.
No.
Good. So we're not on Threads yet. Maybe we will. I know a lot of people are over there. So
I'm like, if it's a separate platform thing,
it is.
I feel like it shouldn't be linked in that way. Like how you can delete your Instagram by your Facebook fucking up.
I think
feel like
you can delete the app. I'm sure you just can't delete the fucking account.
But like you can delete your Instagram or Facebook account and it doesn't affect the other because they're linked in that.
No, I promise.
But they're not like.
That was a huge thing everybody was talking about.
Well, I'm sure, but I'm like, why?
Yeah. Like, why, Mark?
Why are you forcing us?
Why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're on all the socials. And if you're watching, we're on YouTube. If you're listening, we're pretty much anywhere you can think of to listen to a podcast. But
new episodes most weeks.
We're trying to get back on track.
Yeah.
So hopefully this coming week we'll have our old episode that you guys will see. Our goodbye and then, hello. So anyway, that is it. Yay. Okay. Well,
we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're at it, hit the fucking subscribe button. Stop making me beg. We'll talk at you next time. And remember, don't be ugly, dumb, or stupid.